Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Steven Ontario Telescope. Happy Halloween weekend. I'm dressed up for the occasion. Feel free to come by the shop today. We have candy, and we're celebrating a lot of great things. It's supposed to be clear tonight. It was clear last night. I did an image. I hope you got out. Today is a beautiful sunny day, but we have a really, really cool product that I want to show today, and we're going to show how to set it up. Hopefully, I have a bit of a different setup here today. And I've done this in the past, it's worked, and hopefully we can get it to work again. So here, let me show you what I've got. That's the empty box. This is the Pegasus Astro Uranus Meteo sensor. Now, you've seen me talk about this in the past. I've done videos on it, I've done emails. You probably woke up to an email this morning talking about it. So this is the box that you would receive in another box anyways, to show that it is... well, that's what it is. So if we open it up, unboxing to the video today too. If we open it up, right, we get the typical manual, and I want to see, make sure that we are, yeah, there we go. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up, or put something in the comments. I want to make sure this is working well. All right, so anyways, we open it up, and there it is. So it's in Meteo sensor, really, really neat. It comes with a rubber case on it, so we can hold it. It won't slip out of our hands. But here's something that I'm quite proud of. I saw this back in May at the Advanced Imaging Conference. I went down to check things out, as I normally do, and the guys from Pegasus were there as well, and they had it on display without the rubber case. So that's this unit there, and it's really, really cool. It's like their typical metal CNC case, as you will come to expect with Pegasus. Everything's in a strong metal case. But the back of it was flat, and I didn't like that. And I had asked them to make a small change and include, I'll get that in there, right here, that 1/4-20 screw. So there's a couple reasons for this, because I don't like the M3 screws. I think they're too small. 1/4-20 is very popular here, and we can put it on a variety of different things easily. We can put this on our telescope, so it's pointing in the direction that we want to monitor. I could put a clamp on this and on my observatory. What I'm planning to do is have this on the outside of my observatory on a simple clamp that I can take on and off, because it's not weatherproof. I do believe they're working on a weatherproof, more permanent type station for another time, for another product that's coming in, and then I can take this in and out. So this was this was my little addition, and I'm glad that it made it in. And I think we're going to start seeing that in a lot of other Pegasus Astro products, to have that connection there. So anyways, this is the Meteo. That's what it looks like. This one's, it's charged. Right, turn it on, and so you can go through the menu. Roll that up a little better. Got the plastic cover on it. So lots of great information. This is ambient. This is sky temperature and cloud. I'm in my office today, and it looks like I have cloud. So it says 100%. We have ambient temperature and relative humidity, and it shows me what the dew point is. This is our pressure, and our pressure at sea level. Then we have what our approximate cloud cover is, and what the altitude of those clouds are. There's a couple of other screens: GPS coordinates, GPS clock. Now, in order to use the GPS, you need to have a GPS dongle that plugs in on the side. I am trying to source those GPS dongles right now, so we can sell them at the same time or as an addition later on. Chances are, though, your system has a GPS on it already in your mount, so that might not be overly critical for you. Moon angle, I don't know what the visibility is, but we need to have GPS for that. Astronomical twilight, and when it starts and stops. Then we get back into sky temperature. So lots of great menus. We can store a lot of that information in here as well. If I want to do another reading, I would simply press and hold the measure button. We got a beep. I don't know if you heard that. And then it'll take another measurement, then I can go through it. So there's some really good information here. I'll take you to the screen right now. Hopefully this works. Oh, that's not what I want to show you. There. Okay. So here's the Pegasus Astro page, and they go into more detail so we can see all the things that we're going to be able to capture off of this very easily. So ambient temperature, humidity, dew point, so on and so on. All the information is there. You can go to our website as well, and we have the same information, right, where you can place your order directly. We do show it in stock, so you can order it today, and it goes into the details as well as to what the menu will look like, and just some basic information. We can connect it to a PC through a USB port, and it's ready to go. So now, it is supported by ASCOM 6, and this is what I want to talk about today, how we can use this in our imaging setup to make sure our imaging setup does continue to work. And I feel that's very important, because if we have a rogue cloud go by, that can really throw a kink into things. PhD will lose its star, and if you're using a Sequence Generator Pro like I do, it'll crash out. Not crash, but it'll stop. It might park the scope. It'll put a countdown timer on. That cloud could have been gone in 30 seconds, depending on the high wind. Who knows? Lots of different variables there. But now I'm not imaging for at least 3 minutes for it to go through its countdown timer to then re-slew to the target, plate solve. Depending where it is as well, if there was a temperature change, it might have to refocus. I can lose 7 to 10 minutes easily, right? And when I take shorter exposures like that, are 2 minutes each, there's 5 subs gone, right? So why lose out on this great imaging, right, when we can simply pause it? So let's get into this again. On the top of the Meteo, there is this infrared sensor right here, and this infrared sensor is what actually measures a cloud cover. What it's looking for is sky temperature. When it's clear, the sky temperature is really cold, like minus 65 degrees cold Celsius. At that point, I don't think it really matters Celsius or Fahrenheit. It's cold. When a cloud comes over, right, it's now reflecting that heat back off that the Earth emits, and it could be closer to like minus 10, and that's how we know that there's clouds. So there's a little bit of tuning that you need to do. These are the settings that I use. I have another environmental sensor. It's been giving me some trouble, so I'll be swapping out for one of these. And the threshold I usually use is about minus 10, minus 9 degrees Celsius. It is seasonal, so I have to make changes fall and winter versus summer and spring. And depending when the cloud comes through, I have to do a bit of tuning, figure out, okay, at this temperature, I know there's definitely clouds, and then it will pause things for me through some other software, and then go from there. So I'm going to show that really, really quickly. So what we will see here, all right, let me show you a couple things first. This is the Unity platform, right? If you use any Pegasus Astro products, you're going to be used to Unity. It's going to show everything in relation to a power box, to a focuser, to the flats panel. Everything that Pegasus creates that requires some kind of communication back, especially through ASCOM, goes through the Unity platform. This is a great, great platform. Really visualizes things nicely. So here we are. We have it connected to a Meteo sensor right now, and it's reading data back. So we can see what the temperature and humidity is right now in my office. It's a little warm. We can see what the pressure is. It is going down for whatever reason. And we can see other information like cloud sensors and temperature difference and so on. So this is where I was saying the temperature. We can see how the heat's reflecting off of the cloud from the Earth. So in my office right now, the ceiling's, 8 feet above, 8 feet tall, so it's roughly about 5 feet above me right now. That is the heat reflecting back down off of me. Now I'm going to press and hold the measurement button again. Yeah, it didn't really make much of a difference. Let's see if I put my hand in front of it. There, we can see that there's a difference there in the cloud sensing temperature. Now, if it was perfectly clear, and I took this outside to try it out, and I saw the difference, it was perfectly clear, this cloud sensing temperature would be much, much lower. Our light sensor, and you know, the darker it is, we'll give her, this will change as well. And then we can see that I am currently working in a Bortle 9 office. So this is really good. I get that question. How do I tell what my Bortle class is? Well, you can look it up online. There's some maps that will show that. But, you know, here's a way to see exactly where you are in your Bortle class as well. So that's Unity platform. Now, I'm going to switch over to Sequence Generator Pro. This is what I use, and I don't really have a lot of equipment set up, but I do have, under Environment, because I installed Unity, which acts as the ASCOM server, right? I'm going to disconnect this, right? In the Environment section, I can select a whole bunch of different options. Traditionally, I was using the Open Weather Map for observing conditions, but you need to have a persistent internet connection for that, and set up an API key, which is cool. You get some good information, and we can talk about how we can still use that. But I selected Pegasus, Astro, Uranus. All right, I can click on the settings, brings me to Unity. Okay, that's what I want. We're good, and then I can turn it on. Now we can see here in the environmental data, it starts getting filled up. So temperature, humidity, dew point, so on and so on. Why is this information good? This information is good if you are, when you save that information to your FITS file, automatically when the image is downloaded and created, that information gets saved into the FITS file. You bring it into something like PixInsight. If you're going to blink your images, which you should do all the time, make sure you're not bringing in bad data to get cooked into your stack. You can then start to sort based on sky quality, temperature, time, and so on, and you can see the difference that those variables make in your overall image. So you can start to get really picky about the quality of data that comes into your final stack. You might have a bit of high cloud that came through middle of the night when it was supposed to be really clear, but it just, you know, threw things off a little bit. Now we can at least see what those differences are, and if we won't make a decision if we want to keep that sub or not. So, all right, let's go back to Sequence Generator Pro. Right, and we can see that the information comes in, and so this is really nice. It gives us a snapshot of what's happening. The other but this is where the power really comes in with a sensor like this. Under safety, right? If you notice on the bottom bar, there is a lot of information here as to what's happening. This is real-time information within SGP. I'm sure Nina, I don't use Nina, but I'm sure it has something similar. Voyager will have something similar as well. But there's this at the very bottom, it says safety, right? And I'm going to bring up this other piece of software called the Environmental Safety Monitor Driver, right? I downloaded this through a link that I got from the ASCOM standards page, and it's another, you install this, and it's basically like a server that brings in the information from the Uranus to then I can put some logic in there as to when I want it to say that it's safe to image and when it's not safe to image. So through the setup, I'm going to select my device. In this case, it is the Uranus, right? I can connect it as I normally would with any ASCOM device. I connect it through, and then I have these different options I can put in. I can have as little or as many as I want. So I can have cloud cover selection. I can say based on dew point, sky brightness, temperature, sky quality, but I'm mainly concerned with clouds right now. So I'm going to select clouds, right? And I'm going to say when the value is greater or equal to minus 12, right? We're going to be safe to go. I'm going to say okay. And if I want to add other conditions as well, say okay, I also want to have, oh, where'd it go? There we go. There we go, okay. I also want to make sure not only cloud cover, but the sky brightness has to be greater than, what's my setting right now in Unity? Oh, it's pretty high, 286. So I want my sky brightness to be, I don't know. I'm going to put 50 as an arbitrary number. All right. Actually, or it says sky brightness. I want temperature. If it or not temperature doesn't make sense. Let's use humidity. If the humidity is like 90%, I don't want an image. Again, this is just an example. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to connect the sensor. We get the green light over here, and right now the conditions are good. It's safe to image. Right? If I change this to cloud cover, or set a percentage, I want sky temperature. That's the mistake I made. I want the sky temperature to be no, I want the other way around. There we go. All right. I want the cloud cover to be less than minus 11, so minus 12, minus 13 degrees Celsius. And when that condition is met, then safety will go green. In this case, because we are in an office and the sky temperature was 28 degrees, that obviously doesn't meet the condition, so we're not safe to image. So this is where having this type of device is really, really handy. What will happen in Secret Generator Pro, or I'm sure Nina and Voyager are going to be the exact same way, is when it's no longer safe to image, it will then stop the imaging session. Sorry, stop is the wrong word. It will pause the imaging session, and the mount will continue to track the object. If it's coming to a meridian flip, it'll still perform your meridian flip, but it will pause the guiding, and I think that's the most important part. It'll pause the guiding, and of course, will stop taking images. This can save us a lot of time. Now, because if we just have a rogue cloud go through, and then a minute or so later it's gone, if we just lost that guide star for a moment, it comes back. We're good to image. The guiding gets turned back on. Well, in my case, it'll plate solve again, correct if there was any drift, turn the guiding back on, start imaging right away. To test this out, to test out this feature in the imaging software, I actually imaged one night, this was last summer, where there were large sucker holes that came in. It was partly cloudy, and the sky was actually quite clear, except I had these really low, big clouds that were screwing things up for me. So I turned on my sensor, my cloud sensor, and I said, just go. It actually got data that night because it kept pausing and starting again, pausing and starting again, and I got my data that I wanted, some images. It was an experiment to try it out, but it works. So the way I look at it, why at the end of the day do we want to risk our imaging session to a few bad clouds that have come through? Right? There might be clouds that are off in the distance somewhere, but we're imaging that area. Why have that stop our imaging session? So, something like this, right, is going to save our imaging session because we're monitoring that data and we have greater control over what's going on. So, I really like this. I think, let me get back to that other screen. There we go. Okay. Fantastic transitions. Tom, I'm just seeing the comment now. I appreciate that coming from a pro streamer. Actually, I have the Astro shirt on underneath. Let's see what else is there. Okay. So anyway, so that is the Meteo sensor I want to show and how to put it into action, because it's more than just a nifty handheld device. It's something that we can actually use to get good data out of, to make our imaging sessions that much better. And why lose an imaging night because of a cloud that went through, or some other event that prevented you from getting the image you needed, and it knocked out your entire imaging rig. Sometimes I found a Sequence Generator Pro, I haven't run into it in a little while, so I think they've improved it. I can get stuck in a recovery loop, and it just tries to recover and recover, and I've lost hours worth of data. I'm sleeping during this time, so I'm not aware of it, and then I'll see my scope parked, and I go, okay, great, everything's in the way it should be, and I look at the data, and it stopped like 5 hours ago. So, anyways, that is the Uranus Meteo from Pegasus Astro. I really hope that you enjoyed this information. If you have any questions, hit me up on the on Facebook. Drop me an email, steve@OntarioTelescope.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions about this. I have some experience doing this, so hopefully I know what I'm talking about, and hopefully it's going to be useful information for you as well. Thanks again for joining me. I hope it's going to be clear for you tonight. I'm going to image. I'm switching out my scope. I'm taking down my big 6-inch refractor. I'm going to put in my Starfield 115. I'm seeing all the amazing images that Tom, the Astro Canuck, has been taking with it. He did this amazing shot of the rosette. It's on his Instagram, so make sure you go check it out, the Astro Canuck on Instagram, and see what an amazing image that was. And I think that was even taken in Bortle 7 or Bortle 8 skies. So he's using the 3 nanometer filters. Excellent application. He got his best image of Mars last night with 115. Even better. That's great. Thanks, Tom. And check out his stream on Twitch. It's always a lot of fun as well. Thanks everyone who tuned in. Steve, I see that you posted a comment. Good morning to you. Sean, good morning to you. Mazid, good morning to you as well. Steve Flanagan, good to see you also. So thanks for tuning in. Everyone else who's tuned in, I appreciate you taking the time. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'll help you out. Clear skies, everyone. All the best. Love you all.